Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television and radio talk show, Where Truth Matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zones. I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always so much fun. You can find us on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. And also, you can find us on the radio. 92.9 FM. They are the biggest country giant located right here in South Carolina, WZLA. So thank you again so much for listening to us that way as well. You can also find us on all the social media sites. If it's social media, I'm doing it. Just type my name in and you'll be able to find us, Donna Feazell. But again, thank you so much for watching. Continue sending email. It absolutely makes my day. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. We got my friend Alan Mendenhall with me right now. Been on the show for many, many years. Has it been a decade? A little bit over a decade.
I think it's been a decade. I think 2026 marks a decade.
There you go. Well, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. You're very popular. Everybody likes seeing you every single month. And again, Alan, always great to have you on the show. But now we've got a few new listeners. So I was told by Abundant Television that we're really climbing that up. And he said you might want to start reintroducing some of your guests for the newbies out there.
Well, that's great, Donna. I know you're having a great business year, so this is good to hear.
Well, let's talk about your background.
Okay.
What you're doing now.
Sure. Well, I am a senior advisor in the Capital Markets Initiative at the Heritage Foundation, as well as a research fellow in the Rowe Center for Economic Policy Studies at the Heritage Foundation. So I sort of have two hats. In my background, I've always kind of had positions with two hats as associate dean of a business school and executive director of a center within the business school at Troy University for the last 5 years before I joined Heritage in May 2025. And then before that, for 4 years, I was associate dean of a law school and executive director of a center. So this is just the next iteration of a dual role, but I'm really excited about this work we're doing with the Capital Markets Initiative at Heritage, Donna. It's very interesting and very good work. So the Heritage Foundation's annual operating budget is well over $100 million. So we are a big organization, which, as you can imagine, means we have a diversified portfolio. We own roughly 600 public equities at any given time. Mm-hmm. And so what we're doing in the Capital Markets Initiative is finding the companies that we own shares of and figuring out which ones are doing bad stuff and trying to correct them as shareholders, as owners of the company, mm-hmm. trying to improve those companies. So if you own $2,000 of a company stock or 1% of the company, you can file a shareholder resolution, provided you've owned that for a year and that you commit to owning that through the end of proxy season. So we filed shareholder resolutions at 25 companies, or shareholder proposals at 25 companies. And we're focusing on regional banks that sort of are doing things procedurally or with their policies that are misaligned, so to speak, with their consumer base. So we're talking about banks that are being Cracker Barrel or Target or Anheuser-Busch with its Bud Light, companies that are doing that type of stuff that really doesn't make sense. One of them is Regions Financial in Alabama. It's been doing a lot of stuff that really doesn't make sense for a corporation headquartered in a red state, doing business in a bunch of red states. The others are, we're looking at federal contractors that are doing DEI metrics in their executive compensation. And one thing that's great about this is we filed these shareholder proposals with all these companies that were doing this. And then not long after, Trump's Department of Justice announced that it was going to investigate federal contractors, companies that were using DEI in their policies. So now we have that fact to help us with our engagement. Say, hey, you are exposing your company to risk because you might be getting yourself investigated by the Department of Justice. Then we're focusing on companies with sort of unmitigated China risks, where their supply chains or their consumer base is too dependent upon Chinese companies or Chinese consumers. And Also that have IP exposure to China and other types of data issues that are vulnerable to Chinese interests. And finally, companies that are using Southern Poverty Law Center diagnostic tools, including their hate map. So shortly before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the Southern Poverty Law Center included TPUSA on its list of hate groups. And there's actually a history of this kind of stuff happening where Southern Poverty Law Center has identified a group as a hate group when clearly it was not, and that group was subject to violence. And so this is a dangerous precedent, and we're trying to encourage companies to drop those SPLC metrics. And guess what? We've been really, really successful so far. We've withdrawn our proposals at several companies. One that we've announced publicly that I'll just use an example is Salesforce, but Meta, Facebook is another one. Our engagement process was great with them. They were professional, they were collegial. We had conversations about the Southern Poverty Law Center and the dangers of using its metrics, and they were very receptive to our message. The only companies that really have given us any kind of pushback are Starbucks, Amazon, and Regions Financial. And I find it interesting that Regions is sort of up there with Starbucks and Amazon as companies that are trying to pushing back. Most companies, what we're finding is most companies are saying, thank you. Gosh, we've had so much pressure. Yeah, they're saying we've had so much pressure over the years from the left to do all these things, and we've just been waiting for someone on the right to ask us to stop. If somebody on the right had told us to stop a long time ago, we never would have been doing this to begin with. Thank you so much for coming in and telling us to stop doing it, because we don't really want to be doing this stuff anyway.
Well, I want to ask you a question. This kind of pertains to retail, but it also pertains to drones that are being shipped out from China. And okay, this is just Donna Feazell logic right here. Okay, so something tells me, okay, drones are a pretty serious thing to have, and it's pretty serious. I mean, it's violate to your privacy, the whole things. But shouldn't I be a little nervous? No, they're piping these things out at ridiculous low prices, which is one concern. I mean, you know me, I'm always looking for a good deal. However, if it comes from China and they're almost giving it away, should I be just a little bit leery about the privacy issue of a drone?
I would say probably so. There are all kinds of things going on where China is amassing data. I would point you to a new study that the Heritage Foundation just released. And I'm no expert on this study. I did not participate in the study, so I can't just sit here and summarize it for you, but it's brand new, and it's called Project Tidal Wave, and it relied on AI and simulations and a lot of expert input to figure out war games and other types of events involving China and whether the United States could or could not win a war against China. And I won't do the spoiler alert. I'll make it like a film or something where people have to go look it up for themselves and see what the outcomes and the results of that study were. I think it's not just interesting, but also alarming. It means the United States really has to get it together, and we've got to refocus our efforts on production and national defense and all kinds of issues regarding sovereignty where China is in our country in ways that not everybody appreciates, and that's scary.
Oh, it definitely is. As a matter of fact, I just recently canceled an order. Now, they were masked as if they were an American company, United States company, but they were not. When I saw where it was being mailed from, it was China. So, and when I'm ready to order something, I want to get it within a week at least, not 6 weeks or later. And so that's another reason I really don't want to buy anything from China. But then I have to wonder about what they put in their products.
Exactly.
Here. I mean, you just have to be careful about those things. Common sense.
I can tell you, I think China right now has some unique information about my inner ear. And I'll tell you why I say that. That's an unusual way to lead a conversation. But the other day, I was on Facebook and I was watching those videos where somebody has the thing that goes in your ear and it's got a camera on it and a light and it shows how they get earwax out, and it just looked so satisfying, and I had to get it. So I purchased it. It showed up at my house, and the first step in the instructions involved a QR code that you scan in order to pull up a new app. And I pulled up the app, and it had all these Chinese characters. It wasn't even in English.
Oh.
I downloaded it anyway because I wanted to use this ear thing.
Yeah.
And then I've got this Chinese app on my phone, which who knows, maybe it's doing other stuff on my phone that I don't know about. But one thing it might be doing is it to you hold the phone up, and that shows you what the image on the camera is, so you can look and see what's going on in your. You put the thing.
That's enticing. I mean, it really is enticing. But then again, you have to wonder what the payoff is.
What is the payoff? Does it have little things crawling through my phone that I don't know about? Pulling data? I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh gosh, and it could be keeping up with your because you do online banking and that kind of thing.
Oh, who knows? I mean, who knows what it's capable of doing or not capable of doing? I don't know. I mean, I would imagine that tech is pretty shocking when you've got countries setting off pager bombs and you've got all this drone warfare. I would imagine just combing through the devices of regular old people is not that difficult. We don't exactly have government security around our phones.
Well, I had never really thought about this, but we had a listener who sent an email about doing online deposits. And he said he was a little bit leery about doing that. I mean, I do online deposits. Customer pays me. It's just quicker not to have to run to the bank. I'm looking at convenience right there. But what harm could possibly come out of that?
Well, I don't know. I'm no expert in this type of security, so I can only speculate. But I do online deposits all the time. I don't have time to go to the bank. I'm not even in the city where I reside all the time. I'm on the road all the time, and so going to the bank and running errands. Like the other day, my siblings and I were having a conversation, and it was along the lines of, "What are the things that our parents did when we were kids that we don't do now that we are adults?" And one of the things that was brought up was running errands. We don't run errands. I'm like, do we not run errands?
Do everything online.
I guess I don't run errands. I mean, I still go to the grocery store, but you don't have to. You can have your groceries delivered if you wanted to. You can have the cleaners come to your house if you wanted to. There's a doctor that comes to your house in the old-fashioned way.
Wow.
Here in Auburn, and you just schedule it online, schedule an appointment, and they come and show up at your house. If you didn't want to leave the house, you wouldn't have to. Now, I like to leave the house because I get bored.
Yeah,
I get bored staying in the house. I like going out. I like seeing people. I like eating lunch out, partially because I don't cook. But I also like to see people. I like being around people. I'm an extrovert.
That's the same here. I wanted to mention before we go into a commercial break, my great-great-grandfather, I think it was two greats, was a medical doctor. But now we didn't get a lot of wealth out of this. Basically, he was paid with chickens and eggs and stuff like that when he delivered babies. So anyway, my grandparents talked about it. I wonder how many eggs they got for delivering babies. So, but anyway, that was back in the olden days. But things have definitely changed. But I would love to see where a doctor will come to your home. I would think if you're opening up a practice, you're brand new, that might be a great way to expand your patient base. That might be a good one. Let's go into a commercial break, and we're going to return in just a few minutes. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. Or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. I have Alan Mendenhall with me. He's a longtime favorite. You guys really love having him on the show, and I do too. And so again, Alan, thank you so much for being with us. I wanted to mention this. So I had bought, I think I was about 25 years old, and so I bought a foreign car. So I was driving up with my new car into the church parking lot. And so Mr. Smith, Calvin Smith, he was a veteran, and he looked at me and he said, if you had been in World War II like I had, you wouldn't be driving that foreign car.
Oh,
so that was back.
Was it a German car?
Yeah. so only American made, forged heavy, and that's it. That's all you can get. But I'm kind of leaning that way. I made fun of him. It was like, oh, for goodness sakes, what's wrong with him? But I'm kind of leaning that way now.
Do you drive an American car now?
No,
Is this a personal question? I don't know. I got to ask somebody what kind of car they drive.
Yeah, Bobby Ledbetter with Twin City Used Car Sales. And so he provides me with vehicles. So it's always an American-made car.
Oh, that's great. That's good for tax purposes, too.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm beginning to act like my grandparents and some of the older dudes back from like 30 years ago.
Well, it's funny, Donna. I'm 42 still, and I can't tell what generation I belong in. I'm like, I work with all these young people, and then I've got friends who are all kind of older, and but I do know this: my kids think that I am cringe. My 14-year-old and 12-year-old, they call me cringe all the time. And we'll drive through Wendy's and I'll start ordering. And then we'll finish the order, and as I'm driving up to the window, they'll say, "Oh, Dad, that was cringe. Oh, I can't believe you just did." Well, I just ordered food. Well, what do you mean?
Cringe is a bad thing.
It's a bad thing. It's like cringy. Yeah. Oh, I'm learning all the lingo. If you're based means you're cool, like in a conservative way. Yeah, you're based. And
I remember one time one of my black friends said, "You're fat." And I'm taking offense to that. I'm like, "What?"
With the PH, right?
Yeah, PHAT. So, and I was like, "Excuse me." No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm going, how can that be a good thing? And then he said PHAT. So it's kind of like, what are these young people saying now? You have to practically do a language converter when you walk.
Oh yeah. My kids used to use the word sus. This is sus, meaning it's like suspect or suspicious. It's like it's one or both of those terms. And I was with somebody who is 28 the other day, and she was using the term sus. And so I asked my kids about sus, or I called something sus just to sort of play cool. And they're like, "Dad, that's so 2022. 2022? That's awfully specific," but that's what they said. That was so 2022. Sus is 2022 now.
Well, let's say, you're already an old fogey if you mention that word. What's so funny is the dances, and I never was really like, my parents, they grew up in the 50s. I grew up in the 70s and all this. And so we had Staying Alive and all this disco stuff and all that stuff. And of course, they fussed about our music and, about how we danced and all this kind of stuff all the time. Well, my son grows up and he's in the 90s. And some of the stuff was really kind of weird. I mean, you got the rap stuff and all that stuff going on, but overall, I really didn't fuss with him too, as long as it wasn't vulgar. And if it's something vulgar, well then. But then that even changes, because from one generation to another, I remember hearing my grandparents talk about how vulgar they thought Elvis was.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's nothing compared to now.
The generational divide seems to have collapsed quite a bit over the last few decades. Yeah. I think older people act younger. I just remember when I was a kid, somebody that was, I'd say in his or her 60s, acted older than someone in his or her 60s acts now. They dress different, they acted differently, and I feel as if the generational divide is sort of collapsing, where
it's shifting.
Yeah, people they dress the same way, they sort of act more the same way, they watch the same things, they listen to the same music. Young people listen to the same music that even my parents listened to when they were young. My parents also listened to new music. So everybody's kind of listening to the same music, watching the same sports, and entertainment seems to be more focused on the population writ large in a way that it probably wasn't. Even when I was a kid, there was a target audience of, an older generation, or a target audience of a younger generation. And now all the generations are sort of watching the same entertainment. I find that interesting.
The one thing that I've noticed is driving. Now I realized back in my young days, I did drive too fast. I had a lead foot and I was always in a hurry. I'm still kind of that way a little bit. But sometimes Phil and I are driving and we're behind someone, and I will just say that's probably an old person because they're going like really super, super slow, and then you'll pass them and it's a young person. So it's like the younger people are driving slower now.
I see that too. I have started slowing down, but that's mainly because, and I can't believe I'm about to say this on the record, this is going to get used against me in court, but I got tired of getting speeding tickets.
Yeah, same.
I got so many speeding tickets, but then I can't, please don't send this video to my insurance company. But I would actually go to court, or I'd take a driving class, or I would do whatever it was to get out of the speeding ticket. Yeah. So my record is pretty clean, but that doesn't mean that I haven't gotten a lot of tickets along the way. Oh my goodness, I just said that in public.
Well, maybe the young folks have it figured out. Okay, because my granddad was a cop. in Oxford, Alabama. I told you the story about seeing Elvis and all that kind of stuff, although
Yeah.
you couldn't tell anybody anything until after Elvis had lived or had left. This is back in the 50s and the 60s when he would see Elvis. But the thing about it is that when I started driving, he said, you have a lead foot. I can tell you will. He said, and you're going to get tickets. You're going to get stopped. He said, the best thing to do is not to argue with the policeman. You'll be amazed at the ones I've only given warnings to because they were nice and polite and fessed up and said, yeah, I'm speeding. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that would be the worst thing to do is to offend the officer writing.
Don't do that.
It's just so obvious. And you see people, you see these protesters, you see other people trying to provoke officers or to incite violence. And it's just so dumb. What do you think's going to happen? I mean,
I would slap one on you too if you got rude with me.
I mean, sometimes I see these videos and I am amazed at the restraint that the officers show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, wow, they are trained to really keep their cool because these people are clearly trying to provoke, and they get right up in the officer's face, and they'll even touch and things like that. And I'm amazed at the restraint that some of these officers do show in those situations.
Well, I would have a brother-in-law and sister-in-law that would always take a road trip to California. And you'd have to know him. He was a jokester. I mean, he'd just say all kinds of stuff. And he's always getting stopped for tickets. And he could get by with this. Now, I wouldn't be able to. But what he would do is the policeman would pull him over, and he'd just be laughing, just having a good time. He'd say, what happened? Did you not meet your quota for the month? I mean, he would actually say that. And I would say, and his wife would be like, I wish he would stop doing that. One of these days we're going to get hauled into jail because he says something like that. And I said, well, do you ever get a ticket? And she said about 50-50. Sometimes we get a ticket and sometimes not. She said most of the cases, the cops just kind of laugh at it and go, yeah, I hadn't made the quota and you're my stop. So it's just the way you do it. If you do anything in a hateful way, I mean, it's going to be. And I tell folks that way because political scene's coming up pretty soon, and people go out and they talk to the political candidates when they're out there. And so the best thing to do if you have a question about something, or maybe you're against a policy they are for, is don't be rude saying it. I mean, just simply say, I've got a question and, I just need clarification on this. I heard that you're for abortion or whatever. And just simply say it, not in an argumentative way. You'd be amazed at how that you might get an answer out of them. Well, not
I've been thinking a lot about this, where professional standards in journalism seem to turn on hostility these days. And I don't know if it's like the glorification of the Frost-Nixon exchange type thing, where journalists are expected to try to put people in pressure situations or force them to give tough answers or to have the big reveal or to have the gotcha moment. And I don't know that that's really healthy, because
we're all tired of that. We're all tired of it.
Yeah,
we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, it's not really helpful. If the purpose of journalism is to elicit information, I really don't know that that's the best way. You want people to be comfortable talking, and you want them to talk for a long time. Yes, they're going to get their narrative out. Yes, they're going to get their talking points out. But if you let people just talk for a while, they'll go off script. It doesn't require badgering and that kind of thing. And so I don't know.
It's cool. So we're going to have to call it a day. But there is a quote. There's an old famous quote that says, if you want someone to listen, whisper. I like that one.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you again so much, guys, for watching. Thank you, Alan, for being with me. It's always a pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you guys all the next time around. We'll be back shortly with another episode.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.